Hey everyone, Josh here from Marzocco. Today we won't be talking about espresso machines, we'll actually be talking about one of the grinders in our lineups. The Swift grinder. Now the Swift is pretty rad. It grinds, doses, tamps, it does everything for you with two hoppers on it, so you can have two different origins or a regular and a decaf, a bunch of ways to set it up. But one of the main questions we get is how do I dial this grinder in as soon as I unbox it? Here's one approach that may save you a bunch of time, coffee, and frustration. So let's jump on in.
Okay, so here are a couple of tools that will help you with the dial-in process. You'll need a scale, a dosing tin, a small spoon, a bottomless portafilter if you have one, a funnel of some sorts, and Swift-specific portafilter baskets. You'll receive 2 with your Swift. Now go ahead and set up your grinder. Plug it in, add some coffee, and put in your portafilter, and then push start. Once the cycle is done, coffee will come out into the portafilter, and you're gonna go ahead and just dump that out into a bowl or on the table. Feel it with your fingers, and you're looking for an espresso grind size consistency. So relatively fine. If you have another grinder that you use for espresso, just kind of compare it with that one. And then working with the knob, adjust your grind size coarser or finer. When you make a grind adjustment, you'll need to urge about 3 cycles through the Swift for that change to take effect. You can either do that like you would normally pull shots, or if you have a bottomless, you can take the basket out and hold the cup right underneath it and hit the button. This will purge a larger volume of coffee per cycle. Once your grind size seems fairly accurate, go ahead, place a cup on a scale, tare it to 0, and then take a dose from the grinder and dump it straight in. At this point, you'll want to adjust your dose to what you normally brew with in your shop. For this exercise, we're going to add or take away coffee until it's 19 grams, our starting point. Now I know you just bought an automatic tamping grinder, but for the exercise of dialing in, go ahead and place that coffee in a portafilter, tamp it with a traditional tamper, and then brew the shot like you normally would any other coffee. The main point of those steps is to get your grind size fairly close and your coffee looking like a solid shot of espresso. Go ahead and adjust your grind size coarser and finer, repeat that process until your coffee looks pretty good. Unless you're extremely lucky, it'll be very common that you'll need to adjust the dose of the grinder from the factory setting. Here's what's happening inside of the Swift when you hit grind. Coffee is flowing from the burrs into the Swift chamber. That impeller is spinning around, tamping while it moves up and fills that cavity with coffee. And then once it reaches its set depth, it will rotate for a couple extra seconds to polish the top, giving you a really clean surface for brewing. These are the tools that are included with the Swift. To adjust the depth, you'll only need these tools. If you find yourself needing more tools, you're probably doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Okay, let's make doughs happen. So, step 1 is to remove the 4 Phillips head screws from the main body tower cover. There are 2 on the left and 2 on the right. Store those screws in a safe place and then lift the cover straight up. Next, with the grinder off and unplugged, rotate the impeller, which will in turn rotate the coupling assembly on top until the set screw is visible on one of the flat sides. Next, you can depress the impeller brake, which is moving that lever straight forward, and using the Allen key, loosen that set screw a couple of turns. Don't pull it out, just loosen it. Now depress the brake again, and using your other hand, rotate the impeller left or right, in turn moving the shaft up or down. Basically, if you move it down, your dose will have less coffee, and if you move it up, your dose will have more coffee. Now it is very important that the set screw is secured on a flat part of the shaft, otherwise you risk damage to the shaft itself. Now go ahead and tighten it just snug enough so it stays into place, plug it back in, and pull a shot. Now you can continue to make those adjustments of lowering or increasing the impeller height until you get the desired dose that you're looking for. Your final step is ensuring you have the right basket size. So take a dose, put it into the group head, and then take it out again. you're looking for a small indentation from the screw. If you don't see anything at all, it means you'll need to decrease your basket size, or in turn, if all the coffee is messed up and stuck to the top of the screen, you'll need to increase the size of your basket. This just ensures that you have the proper headspace between your coffee bed and your dispersion screen. At this point, it should look like espresso and taste pretty good. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to us on Instagram or through the comments below, or just shoot us an email. Hope you enjoyed and hope this was helpful.